Hello, my name is Dr. Erica Middleton, and I am Director of the Research Registry of MRRI Rehabilitation Research Institute. This is a brief video for clinicians, residents, and other staff who are considering engaging in research at MRRI Rehab. I will outline the administrative steps that must be in place prior to initiation of your research project. I will also tell you about the MRRI Research Registry and how it can be used to support research at MRRI Rehab. If you're interested in initiating a research project with human subjects at MRRI Rehab, 3 types of administrative approval must be in place. This includes a review of the institutional resources you will need to conduct your research, a review of scientific merit of your project, and a review of human subjects' ethical issues by the IRB. These 3 approvals must be in place prior to engaging in any research at MRRI Rehab, and they must be in place prior to using the research registry. I will discuss each of these steps in turn. Number 1, approval of the use of institutional resources. As a first step for planning your study, you need to submit a research resource utilization form. The resource utilization form covers a range of institutional resources, such as space needs and staff impact, as well as need for specific kinds of patients. The resource utilization form should be submitted for all proposed projects at MRRI Rehab, regardless of intended funding source or intent to use the research registry. If you are seeking funding at an outside agency, the resource utilization form must be submitted prior to the time of application to the granting agency. This is so you can be sure that the study you hope to apply for is feasible to conduct. If you are interested in using the research registry for recruiting participants, this request is made with submission of the resource utilization form. Registry administrators use the resource utilization form to determine whether the registry can support your project. And do note, in some cases, registry administrators may determine the registry cannot support recruitment for your study. If you are not interested in using the research registry, you still need to submit the resource utilization form to determine the registry lacks the population you're interested in, and so that you can obtain approval to recruit by alternative means. The resource utilization form is submitted to Kevin Wellhan, Administrator of MRRI, whose contact information can be found in Outlook. Number 2, the review of scientific merit. All proposed research at MRRI Rehab must undergo a review of scientific merit. This can include the following kinds of review. If your study is funded by the Albert Einstein Society or a government funding agency such as the National Institutes of Health, which conducts its own peer review, this suffices for review of scientific merit. If your study is a FDA-approved or peer-reviewed clinical trial solicited by an industry sponsor, this can suffice for review of scientific merit. If your study has none of these types of review, your study needs to be submitted for review by the MRRI Peer Review Committee, or PRC. If you will apply for PRC scientific review, you will submit the resource utilization form as part of PRC review. Thus, the PRC evaluates the project's resource requirements and its scientific merit. And note, the PRC also has limited funds available to support pilot research. For questions about the PRC review process, contact Mary Ferraro, whose information can be found in Outlook. Number 3, IRB approval. So lastly, prior to initiation of research, you must obtain IRB approval for your research project. For studies that require PRC review for scientific merit, approval from the PRC must be obtained before submitting the IRB application. If your study can be supported by the research registry, you should list the research registry as a recruitment source in your IRB protocol. Beth Lynch at the Office of Research and Technology Development is the point of contact for the IRB. Her contact information can be found in Outlook. Now I will tell you more about the Research Registry of MRRI Rehabilitation Research Institute. The Research Registry supports neurorehabilitation research in the MRRI Rehab community and contains information for over 2,000 research volunteers. These volunteers include adults who have a neurological condition like stroke or traumatic brain injury. The The registry also includes individuals who have no existing or prior neurological condition and are willing to serve as control participants. Although we are fortunate to have a rich program of research at Moss Rehab, this comes with the need to prevent patients from being overburdened by recruitment approaches and the need to fairly manage access to our finite population of patients. The registry serves to facilitate access to potential research participants with specific characteristics. It also helps manage the demand and competition for particular kinds of participants across studies that may have similar inclusion and exclusion criteria. Research staff who are approved to use the registry use the database to identify research volunteers who meet the criteria and scientific goals of their study. The registry contains demographic and contact information for all research volunteers. For volunteers with a neurological condition, the registry also includes medical history information relating to their condition, including findings from neurological, neuroimaging, and clinical tests. To support the registry, MRRI employs multiple full-time recruiters who approach eligible individuals when they are inpatients or outpatients at Moss Rehab, both at Elkins Park and other Moss Rehab locations. If you encounter inpatients or outpatients at Moss Rehab that are interested in research and may be appropriate for the registry, please see the MRRI Research Registry website for contact information. The MRRI Research Registry is approved by the Institutional Review Board of Einstein Healthcare Network. The registry's IRB protocol specifies the details of the registry consent process, how we maintain the information in our database, and how participants are approached for studies that use the registry. All research projects that use the registry are conducted with the IRB oversight to maintain the highest standards of research ethics and confidentiality. Before using the registries to support your research, the 3 administrative steps that I described earlier must be in place. As a reminder, this includes submission and approval of the resource utilization form to use the registry, a review of scientific merit, and IRB approval. Once all the requisite approvals are in place, you will designate a staff member to be added to the registry IRB protocol. When that individual is added to the registry IRB protocol, they will be trained by registry administrators on registry procedures and how to use the registry database to recruit participants. Keep in mind that the staff member you designate will be required to attend weekly registry meetings, either remotely or in person at Elkins Park. At these meetings, registry staff discuss recruitment needs and equitable access to patients. Your staff member will also be required to attend monthly registry meetings where current and new operating procedures are reviewed, and staff can receive support from administrators to help meet recruitment needs. I'd like to wrap up by saying that research participation is a meaningful activity for our patients, and it's important for the development of innovative and efficacious neurological rehabilitation treatments. We thank you for your attention and continued support of the Moss Rehabilitation Research Registry. For more information, please see the MRRI Research Registry page at mrri.org.